trying to figure out for people with disabilities, technology is helpful, but also at the same time, some of it's not the best. So you have to figure out what's the best way to work with people and what works best for them.
Yeah, in order to keep people safe, you had to limit interactions. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, we lost a lot of the fundraisers too.
Right.
You've got one coming up though.
We do have one coming up. Something that we're definitely have a passion about and have been involved with over a number of years is providing ramps to people that have disabilities, so that they can safely enter and leave their homes. And what we're doing is every year we provide these ramps with for people with disabilities that have them. And what happens is there's a bigger demand than there actually is that we can fulfill.
No, that's too bad.
So the only thing limiting us is actually the funding for them. So every year we take applications and we provide these ramps to people, and then at the end of the year there's always more people that could use ramps, which is just as people age and just accidents happen over time, there's a lot of people with disabilities that either develop them or have an injury or something that brings it to light that they really need some way to get in and out of their homes, because it's in the most cases their homes aren't built accessibly in that regard. So most of the homes have steps or the front doors or side doors or anything like that. And the ramp is the only way that they're going to be able to get back in.
Yeah, I think we've all seen some do-it-yourself kind of ramps that probably aren't safe or easy to navigate.
Right. So we build them. We tried to follow a ADA standard, which makes it so every foot that you go up, you have to go out a foot. So that's what we call the rise over run. So every 12 inches, 1 inch that you go up, you got to go out 12 inches in length. So even though it's just 3 steps for some of these ramps and some of these homes, it actually works out to having to have a 20 or 30 foot long ramp. And you got to make these longer things because that's what makes it safe, is to have a gradual incline for people that they can manage. And some of the difficulty with these homes is the space that's there. The yards aren't that big, so we have to make ramps that are switchbacks like that they really do take up a bit of space. And it's all volunteer based for the labor that we get. The money that we raise through this Ramp It Up program all goes directly towards materials, and then we get community members that donate the labor and come out and do that part of it. So all of the money that we can raise for ramps really does go directly right back into the community by providing somebody a ramp that they needed to be able to get safely out of their home.
The examples you brought, especially the one with the switchback, that's a lot of lumber. We all know what's happened to the cost of lumber. That's probably
right. The costs have gone up for all of the materials, like everybody else knows, for those. And as the increased materials go up, it just limits the number of ramps that we can build for people. So as we only have limited funding, instead of being able to do 10 ramps or something, because of the distance every year, we don't know how long the ramps are going to be. So it might be a short one that could only be 10 feet, and then another one that's got to be 50 feet. We have to pay for all those materials. So the materials, the increase in cost can be really a limiting factor, along with just needing more general funding for all of them indeed.
Brian, who are the volunteers? Is it service clubs that?
It is service clubs that we've had a long-standing relationship with Rotary Clubs of Jackson that have helped to provide sometimes not even funding for them, but the labor, and they pre-build all the materials. So on ramp days, is what we call them, on the weekends, and the team of Rotarians will show up, or just volunteers will let us know there's opportunities for organizations to come and do the labor for it. It's a good team building exercise. So I know that they train everybody on site. There's no real skill level that people need to come with. They come and people kind of show how to do it, and everybody's able to take it on, and it's really good opportunity for a community to give back and organizations to team build and give back that way.
Yeah, it's got to be real rewarding for people that do that, especially when they're there. They see that, oh my gosh, they're able to allow the homeowner, to get in their house for the first time in who knows how long.
Right, that they can finally get in and out of their home, and it's not requiring neighbors to come over. We talked to a number of people that, oh my God, I haven't been out of my house in years without calling my neighbors and brother-in-laws just so I can get out and go to the store.
Yeah.
They gotta lift me down the stairs, or not even that. If you want to visit with family or just have other relatives over, and it's nice to not have them always having to come to your place. It also provides the opportunity for you to be able to get out and join the community and go to businesses and your relatives and those type of places as well.
Yeah, well, and just taking for granted, like so many of us, being able to just step outside and enjoy a day like today.
Right. I like to, if you kind of talked about it with the pandemic earlier, of it closed off all the stores and you couldn't really go anywhere. That's kind of what it's like for some people with disabilities. Of they don't have a ramp, they don't have the option to go out and go places.
All right, how does this fundraiser work? It's all online then?
It's all online. We can take phone calls or mail in donations as well. But if you go to our organization, disabilityconnect.org, there's a link right at the top that says Ramp It Up, and you can go and people can fundraise on their own and say, I'd really like to raise X amount of money. We kind of have it figured out that about every $100 that we can raise is going to be an extra foot of materials that we can get. That's another foot that we can build on somebody's ramp. So for every $100 that can raise, somebody that's going to go back into the community.
That's a lot. I mean, you don't think about the costs, but it's prohibitive for people to do for themselves. I mean, it's
Absolutely. And with part of our application process, we take income into doing it, because some people, like I said, with disability, accidents happen and you're not planning for those disabilities to come, or even as you age, you want to stay in your home, and the only way you can stay in your home is if you have a ramp added. But income requires that you have to be able to pay for it. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that aren't in that position where they have an extra $35,000, $7,000 to be able to pay for a ramp that's a really long one. And that's where we can really come in and make a huge impact and a difference in these people's lives.
And you can always use volunteers.
Absolutely. We can always use volunteers. We can always use any small donation goes just as much as a large donation. But people coming and helping build the ramps is huge benefit and rewarding as well.
Great. A couple of other things I wanted to ask you about. I noticed on Facebook you've got a job opening in Lenawee. Disability Connections serves Jackson, Hillsdale, and Lenawee residents, but in Lenawee you have an opening.
We do. We're going to be opening a second office. So we have our main office that's here in Jackson, and now we're going to be opening an office in Adrian, and we're looking for a full-time position there and some part-time work and a full-time position here. They're all going to be on our website listed for anybody to come, but we could use some information referral and customer relations specialists and independent living, working with people to help develop skills and use resources is definitely what we're looking for, and people that like to help out.
You've got so many services that you offer, all the resources for independent living, all the materials, your loan closet.
Right.
There's been a big demand on your loan closet during the pandemic.
There has been a big demand on the loan closet, and actually, as you mentioned that, we have, we're going to change the hours up a little bit, so it'll be open Monday to Wednesday and Friday, but gives an opportunity. People can come, and instead of buying durable medical equipment like a walker or canes or crutches, you might not have the money and it might be just temporary, but you can come to us and we'll give you people, they can rent out that stuff for the little bit of time and a little bit cheaper than it would be through having to buy it out of pocket. And you don't have it, at the end of it when you don't need it anymore, you can give back to us. You don't have it sitting in a closet or taking up space.
Yeah, so people that are done using any of those items, you'd gladly
Yeah.
welcome that.
We take those donations and we reuse those all through the community just as well. Everything goes right back to people so that they can really make the most out of independence.
You even have wheelchair mechanics.
We do. We even have a person that'll come in once a week or once every other week that'll fix some scooters and brakes for walkers and that type of thing, because it's really sometimes it can be overwhelming. And then once the warranties are gone, people don't know what to do with the equipment, and they really depend on it for their life and their health. But we give that opportunity to. There's a small fee with it, but it's going to be a smaller fee that we really do work with people to make sure that we can keep them going and be something that can be affordable for them.
Right. Is it too early to talk about your annual inclusion event?
No, it's never too early to talk about that one. So on October 13th, it's Thursday, we're going to have, it's going to be Lizzie Acker from Great Britain is going to come. She's been on the Great British Baking Show. She's a contestant there, was on TV.
Really?
You can look her up. Yep. She's going to come and live stream from the UK over, and she's going to kind of talk about how her disability comes out through baking, but we get a chance to actually hopefully make something at the same time. She'll show everybody how to do it, and it'll be in person and a virtual event. So that people will give the materials and get a chance to actually make something.
I think I remember her. She's got one hand. Is that her disability?
No.
No?
She's a younger woman that's a very bubbly personality, and she comes across, and hers is more of a hidden disability,
Okay.
which is also something that's important to talk about, because not all disabilities are wheelchair based.
Sure.
There's some that aren't seen, and they can come out in other ways.
Absolutely. All right, well, we'll look forward to that, and when we get closer to that, we'll issue you some more reminders
Yes.
to be part of that. I want to do that. I want to see her, because I've watched every episode. I want to be on. No, I don't want to be on it.
Right. You don't want to see all those things.
I want to be on The Amazing Race. No, I don't want to be on that. I just want to be on this show.
Yeah.
All right, get those donations in. Help your neighbors in the Ramp It Up.
Yes, let's
Fundraiser.
ramp it up. Get some money in. We can really make a big difference in people's lives.
Thanks, Brian. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Details on Ramp It Up at disabilityconnect.org. Sign in and sign up. Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Brian Elliott is the Outreach and Accessibility Director at Disability Connections.